Hello and welcome to our June 2023 edition of Quick Kit. I'm Sam from CVP and I'll be filling in for Jake this week as he's on holiday. Anyway, as usual, links to everything we mention will be in the description down below. The Freefly Ember S5K is now shipping. We actually have one here with the majority of its accessories, so keep an eye on the channel as we plan to produce an in-depth review of this slow motion camera. But for a quick rundown, this camera is capable of shooting 616 FPS at 5K and 809 FPS in 4K, or you can go up to 1011 frames per second in a 2.37:1 aspect ratio, in either a Rec 709 or HLG color space, directly to an inbuilt 4TB SSD. Given its price, the footage that we've managed to capture looks good, and definitely a step up from Freefly's last camera, the Wave. Red have released two accessory packs to go with their KOMODO-X, a starter pack and a production pack. The starter pack comes with an outrigger handle, wing grip, two Red Volt Mini V-Lock batteries and a dual battery charger, two 1TB CF Express Type B cards with a reader, an EXT to timecode cable and a 5-pin to 3.5mm audio cable. The production pack comes with the 7-inch DSMC3 touchscreen, a compact top handle, a 5-pin to dual XLR adapter, two 1TB CF Express Type B cards with a reader, and Red's new Pro I/O module, which adds a range of inputs and outputs via the 9-pin EXT port. This comes in either V or gold mount. We took an in-depth look at the Red KOMODO-X last month when it was released, which you can check out here. The Laowa Rangers have now started shipping, and we actually have two of them in our studio at the moment. We hope to produce a video testing them out soon. These are new full-frame cinema zoom lenses, the 28-75 and 75-180, both with a constant t2.9 aperture. They come with PL mount out of the box, but offer interchangeable mounts for effectively every other type of mount, and are parfocal with a back focus adjustment. They come in a nice Pelly case and cost around £3,189 each, or £6,199 when bought as a set. The new Insta360 Go 3 and Action Pod were released. This is the next iteration of Insta360's tiny action camera. This version features a 2.7K sensor capable of shooting up to 120 FPS in 1080p. The Action Pod is a replacement for the old charging case, which adds a range of functionality such as a flip-up touchscreen and physical buttons to control the camera. Physically, this brings it more in line with other action cameras, though I do wonder how powerful the magnets that hold it together are going to be. Aputure announced the Electrostorm CS15 and XT26, a 1500W RGB WW and 2600W bicolor fixture respectively. Their photometrics and output look to be pretty good, and they are both compatible with Bowen's mount accessories as well as Aputure's new electronic A mount. This includes some great looking electronically controllable accessories like the new F14 Fresnel and Spotlight Max. These new fixtures are huge and require some heavy duty yokes. Aputure have also shown off a new electronic yoke system which allows for panning and tilting your light remotely. Tilta have announced the Zombie Rig Lite, a counterweighted boom pole support system that should work with any boom pole and mounts directly to a sound device bag. Using a similar design to a Steadicam, a solo boom operator can set up and operate their boom with precision for extended periods of time. This could be great for capturing long takes, as boom operating is incredibly tiring. This should be available to pre-order in July. The FX6 and VENICE 2 are both receiving firmware updates. Starting with the FX6, version 4.0 firmware will bring this camera more in line with the FX3 and 30, adding functions such as in-camera D-squeeze at 1.3 and 2 times, Cine EI quick mode, autofocus in slow and quick mode starting at 7 FPS, and also adding the Cine Alta style file naming system. The VENICE 2's version 2.1 firmware is small and adds improvements and updates for the zoom to fit function. We recently took a look at Canon's latest R5C update, which brings a whole range of new features including a power saving mode, new autofocus features, a digital teleconverter, plus much more. We've made an in-depth breakdown of this new update, which you can check out here. Let's get into our quickfire honourable mentions. Links to details about these are in the description below. Angelbird have released two new CF Express Type B cards, a 330GB SX and 1TB SE. Astera have released a couple of RGB MA LED Fresnel lights, the Pluto Fresnel and Leo Fresnel. Atomos opened up a public beta for their cloud-based editing software, which they announced last month as a part of their cloud studio. They've also released firmware 10.92.00 for the Ninja 5, 5 Plus and Shogun Connect. Bebob have added a new 475 Wh dual voltage battery to their lineup of B-mount batteries. This is now the largest B-mount battery they provide. Speaking of B-mount, BlueShape have announced their range of 28.8 volt granite B-mount smart batteries, which have smartphone integration for checking battery levels. Bright Tangerine have released a version of their left field system compatible with the thread layout of the KOMODO-X. Chiopt announced their Slasher series of full-frame macro cine primes. Comica announced the CVM VM30, a supercardioid on-camera shotgun mic that also integrates wireless audio transmission. This is an update to the VM20. Delkin Devices have a new 1TB CF Express Type B. DJI have started shipping their Ronin 4D expansion plate and 3-channel follow focus. DZO updated their Vespid line with the addition of a 12mm T2.8. Hollyland announced the Lark Max, a wireless lavalier and receiver system. IRIX have announced a 65mm Cine lens to their lineup. Lit Systems announced a new product, the Lit Duo, which looks to be a multi-purpose light meter for colour, exposure, illuminance, spectrum, and flicker measurements. There's currently no pricing available, but you can sign up to the waiting list for the public beta. Moonlighting Industries has released their MoonSmart AI rangefinder, which can provide multi-person distance measurements and visual feedback via an app. Mutiny announced the KX-IO port expander, which adds a range of I/O, powering options, and a record button to the KOMODO-X via the EXT port. Nikon announced 3 new Z-mount lenses, a 70-180 f2.8, a 180-600 f5.6-6.3, and a 24mm f1.7, as well as firmware 4.0 for the Z9. Rigstand have released a set of feet that mount to 15mm bars to allow you to place your rig onto a flat surface. Roscoe announced the DMG Lion, a Fresnel light with an interchangeable LED engine, a full spectrum output or a bicolor engine for maximum intensity. Sigma are releasing a full-frame 14mm f1.4 for E and L mount. Simod released their line of customizable AirTag PL port and back caps. Sirui have launched an Indiegogo campaign for their Nightwalker T1.2 Super 35 cinema primes. Sony has announced 2 new CF Express Type A cards, a 960 and 1920GB version. Tilta released their rubber matte box for circular filters, as well as a universal cable clamp and a really great looking cage for the Ronin 4D Flex system. Viltrox announced a 16mm f1.8 lens for Sony E-mount, and Vocas announced their CaseCart 2800, which looks really innovative. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you subscribe ready for next month's edition of Quick Kit, and let us know what kit you've picked up this month in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching.